Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to another manga haul. It's been a while since I've done one of these, so I'm excited to get back into it. I felt like it wouldn't be too good to do like a haul with like 10 volumes, so I would just wait for a while, let them stack up and do a bigger one. So that's what I got today. Got about 90 volumes, I think a little more, so should be a lot of books here and should be fun. So yeah, let's get right into it. First up, we got Vagabond. I have all 12 of the Vizbigs, and as well as the volume 37, and yeah, so glad I'm finally collecting Vagabond. I wasn't collecting it for a while, even though, I don't know if I've said this on the channel before, but Takehiko Inoue is my favorite mangaka, and he was even before I had read Vagabond, just from Slam Dunk and Real, and I hadn't even read what many consider his best series yet, so I was always gonna read this, but the main reason it took me so long was that, well, one, I used to have this really weird, like, anti-omnibus mindset a few years ago, so I was like only single volumes for everything. And of course, getting all the Vagabond single volumes is like really hard and really expensive, even more so now. I got out of that stage a while ago, so the other reason was just because it's on hiatus, but I've really learned not to really care too much about stuff like that, because if I want to read it, then I'm just gonna read it, and if it comes back, it comes back, and if not, then I can always just enjoy what's out. But these are beautiful volumes. The spines alone are just the best. They look so good on the shelf. And all the volumes are really good quality. I know some people have had some problems with them, like the pages come out and whatnot. I have not had that with any of mine, although I did try to be really careful with them, not wrench them open too much, and, be gentle. So I assume as long as you just take good care of them, they should be fine. And yeah, Vagabond was just absolutely fantastic. Though no, the Vizbigs have been going in and out of stock, but I was able to get all of them in not too long amount of time. It took a few months, but it was great. If you've been thinking about, getting Vagabond or what, you should totally do it. And I can't say enough good things, and the volumes look beautiful as well. God, I really got 3 anyway manga, 10 out of 10s. This dude owns my soul. Next up, for another new series I got Planets Volume 1. Now, I only have this Volume 1, but I did finish reading the series with Volume 2. And I have to say, this is probably something I'm gonna be getting rid of and not getting the Volume 2. It just didn't really do it for me, which was really disappointing because I know it's a very beloved series among a lot of people. It's from a great mangaka, Makoto Yukimura, who's obviously more famous for Vinland Saga now, which is something I need to collect in the future. But, this one, I just thought it was kind of okay. It felt like two separate stories that never really came together that well, in my opinion. So it just felt kind of weird, and then the ending kind of left me a little unsatisfied. To me, if I'm not going to go back and revisit something, then I don't see the point of having it in my collection, and I don't see myself going back to revisit Planets, unfortunately. So yeah, didn't really like it that much, was okay. Next up, something I'm very excited to have, JoJo. These are the two hardcovers for part 5. Now, I am a massive JoJo fan. I've watched all of the anime parts, and I've read all of the unadapted ones, except for part 8. I'm catching up on that one right now that it's finished. But I owned 0 volumes of the JoJo manga before this, so I'm really glad to finally have something, and then hopefully it'll, spark me wanting to go back and get the others, because JoJo is probably my favorite, like, battle series of all time, just taking the whole thing into account, not necessarily one specific part, but part 7 is like one of the best things I've ever read. But anyway, focusing on part 5. Part 5 I really, really enjoyed. This was when I caught up to JoJo while the anime for part 5 was airing, so I watched it weekly, and it was a really, really fun experience. I love the cast in part 5. I think it is one of, if not maybe the best cast of Joe Bros in JoJo. I think this reread will help me solidify what I think, if they're like the best or second best or whatever. And Bucciarati, one of my favorite JoJo characters. I really kind of like how they did it, because it's really, the way I see part 5, it's really Bucciarati's story, but you're seeing it from Giorno's point of view, and I really liked that. So I've been loving collecting and rereading these, so I can't wait to have all of them, and hopefully in my next haul, I'll have a bunch more JoJo, so I don't look like a fake fan. Next up is Soul Eater, the perfect edition hardcovers. I got the first 4 of these. Now, Soul Eater, the anime I watched many years ago, I forget exactly when, but not as it was coming out, a little after that, and I really liked it, and I always wanted to read Soul Eater, but I just never picked up the volumes for it. But now with these perfect editions coming out and them being really nice quality hardcover, I've been committed, like, yes, I'm gonna get them all, I'm gonna finally read Soul Eater. So I've got all the ones that are out right now, and it's just been really fun reading this again. As far as I remember, I have not gotten past where, like, the anime diverges and goes anime original. Everything's kind of been how I remember it from the anime, at least so far. But that's not to say I haven't been enjoying myself. It's been fun revisiting this stuff again. The characters in Soul Eater are really wacky, but pretty fun. And the story is getting to that point where it really hooked me back when I first watched it. So I'm super pumped for this 5th volume to come out, and then maybe I'll start getting into some of that manga original or manga only stuff that I didn't get to see in the anime. So really been loving picking this up, and can't wait for volume 5, and it just feels good to be, back on something that you haven't read for so long. It almost feels brand new. Next up, I got volumes 6 and 7 of Good Night Pun Pun. Now, I have had the first 5 volumes of Pun Pun in my collection for years now. I've had them forever, and I've finished reading Pun Pun, but I hadn't gotten the 6th and 7th ones because, like I said earlier, I don't really want to keep manga in my collection if I don't see myself coming back to reread them at some point. And Pun Pun, I wasn't sure if I wanted to reread, not because I didn't like it. I think it's great, but, it's just super dark, depressing, and heavy. And I was just kind of like, do I really want to, like, read this again? But I've kind of come around to, I do want to keep it around and finish the set, and I think it is something I'm going to be keeping in my collection because, it is good. I really, really like it. It has super great writing, themes, the artwork is excellent, and I feel like I could revisit it at some point later. I kind of want to reread it now that I have the whole thing, and honestly, probably will. And yeah, so I'm really glad I finally got these. It just feels good completing the set, especially with something I've left unfinished for so long, despite me having completed reading it. So super happy to have these, and I'm probably gonna be jumping down the Pun Pun well again. So can't wait to be sad again. Next up is something new in my collection. Die Dark, the first 2 volumes. Now, I've really wanted to read Dorohedoro for a while now, but I'm sure as many of you know, if you've been trying to get him like I have, every volume is like out of stock, and it's been impossible to find. So, I figured instead of, trying to pay like insane eBay prices or just waiting around, I could just try out Q Hashida's other manga, Die Dark. So I picked up the first 2 volumes of this and read them, and it is very interesting. It's my first exposure to her style. It doesn't really seem like there's connected long story arcs. It feels like a lot of independent things happening in short bursts, just more kind of Monster of the Week style. Now, I don't know if that will, like, persist through Die Dark all the way, or if that's just because it's early on, because a lot of manga are like that early on, but then once they get established, they start doing that. So I don't know how it is in Dorohedoro either, but that's not to say it hasn't been enjoyable. It is. The characters are really nuts. A lot of stuff is super over the top, which I've found pretty funny. The world is really interesting, the sort of space travel stuff and, you know, all this interesting stuff, so I'm definitely pretty intrigued. I will get the third volume, and I think after that third volume, I'll kind of make my decision if I want to keep reading this and keep collecting it. It's been nice to finally be able to read one of her manga, even if it's not Dorohedoro, the one I wanted. I am glad to have these. Alright, now next up is Berserk. Now I got 31 through 40, so I've finally caught up to the volume releases of Berserk. Of course, Berserk is something I've had in my collection for a very long time and loved it, but I hadn't caught up to it. I only had up to volume 30, and I got kind of burned out and stopped for a while, but I always wanted to catch up. And of course, with the news earlier this year of Kentaro Miura's death, that just really made me want to reread and catch up. So that's finally what I did. I did that a few months back, got all the ones I was missing, and reread and caught up to Berserk. And it was just as excellent as I remembered it, if not better. And a lot of this new content in the volumes I hadn't read was just fantastic as well, and some of my favorite stuff in the series. Volume 34 in particular is like one of the best single volumes of manga I've ever read. That volume was just fantastic. I literally reread it immediately after I finished it the first time, just because it was like so good, and I was just like, dude, what? Like, I need this again. Even if it was sad reading it, knowing Miura has passed away, I am glad to finally catch up. And that volume 41, I think, should be releasing soon. Then we'll have everything. Of course, they still haven't announced what the future of the series will be, whether if it'll continue from the assistants or if it'll end. But I feel like since they haven't made an announcement, that's almost indirectly confirming that it'll continue, because I think if it wasn't, they would have just said it wasn't when that last chapter released that Miura worked on. So I think that's almost a confirmation it will be continuing. And if it does, then it'll be interesting to see like how I'll feel about that and, you know, where it'll go from there. But at least for sure, I have all this to enjoy, and I'm super glad to have all the volumes of Berserk now. Next up, Chainsaw Man. Been keeping up with the releases for these, so this is 4 through 7. I have all of them. I don't remember which ones I showed last, but I have all 7 of them that are out. To anyone that's like been having trouble getting these, like, I feel for you, and frankly, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's probably not gonna get much easier because of the anime coming out, and we know the anime is gonna drive sales, and even more people are gonna want to pick this up, but just keep trying. Stick with it, get the newest ones as they come out, even if you're like have a gap in the middle, because then once you have these, then if and when, and they probably will, the later ones go out of stock, then you already have them, so when you fill in your gaps, then you don't have to wait for those. That's my best advice to you. And then check like websites like Barnes & Noble, Amazon, because some of them have the dates that they're gonna get them back in stock. So you can go that, mark them down, buy them on that date, and you should be able to get them. I loved Chainsaw Man when I initially read it, so once I get all the volumes, gonna do a reread of it, should be really fun. Then of course we got the anime coming out, so I can't wait to watch that too. So it's an exciting time to be a Chainsaw Man fan, and part 2 has been announced, and I'm assuming we'll get more info, maybe release date when the anime airs. I think that would make sense and be like a good timing to get a lot of hype and momentum going into it. Chainsaw Man, great. Glad I've been picking them up, and to anyone who's been trying to pick them up, like I said, just stick with it, and hope you can get them, because these stock issues they're getting bad, man. They're getting bad. Next up is Moriarty the Patriot, 3 through 5. Another thing I'm all the way caught up on, and I like this manga, but it's another case of where I like it, but is this something I want to continue buying and collecting? Do I like it that much? Right now, I, I don't really have an answer. I know there is the anime out for it, and I watched season 1 of the anime, and it was a pretty good adaptation. They did cut out some of the darker cases, because I assume they're, trying to make it appeal more to a younger audience and, get better TV slots or whatever. So that was unfortunate, but it's not like a butchering of it or anything. And as far as I know, season 2 gives it kind of an anime original ending sort of thing. So I've been kind of thinking, like, maybe I'll just watch the anime, and then if I'm cool with that ending, then I'm probably got my fix of this series. It's a good series. I like it. But yeah, it's good. Just, I don't know if I'll keep collecting it. Next up is the case study of Vanitas Volume 8, the newest volume. I am so happy that Vanitas is really getting, much more popular now. The anime was excellent. It was a great adaptation, and I think really got a lot more people aware of the series. And it was nice to see a Jun Mochizuki manga get a good anime after Pandora Hearts got burned with its adaptation. So Volume 8, excellent. As I think I've said before, that I feel Jun Mochizuki manga are best binged. I read it like when I get it, but I'm not really like paying too much attention, because they're so like foreshadow heavy and bring back elements from previous volumes, and because of how slow these have been releasing, it's just been so long since I've read some of the other ones, I just don't remember. Really glad to be picking these up, and then once some more come out, I think I'll let them stack up and then just read a bunch in a row, maybe all from the beginning. That should be fun. Or maybe until the series finishes, but I don't know how long it's gonna be. So, yeah, but anyway, love this series. Another one of my favorite mangaka, Mochizuki, so I'm really happy to see another one of her series doing well and continuing to be released. So, I would totally recommend this if you like steampunk setting. It's got vampires, there's a really cool mystery, and some great action. Watch the anime if you want to, read the manga if you want to. Both are great, but totally I think it's harder to call it underrated now that it's gotten an anime, but potentially still a bit of an underrated series, so totally would recommend it. Next up, we have a series that I'm really surprised I've enjoyed as much as I have, but very pleasantly surprised because I love it, and it is Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. I've got 1 through 11, which are all of the physical volumes that are out right now. This series really took me by surprise. I was really drawn to it initially because of the art style. I really loved the art style, especially in the anime. I didn't finish watching the anime. I watched like a few episodes, but then like stopped for whatever reason. But I loved the art style of that, and then looked at some of the manga art and thought it looked really good. And then I really like, mystery and stuff, so the whole mystery element of it really appealed to me. So I just bought the first couple one day and was just frankly hooked. It's kind of been my newest obsession, if you will. I've really enjoyed where the story is going. I love the main cast of characters. They're all super fun, have a nice cast dynamic, as well as have some really good serious moments in the story when it gets there. And I love the arc it's currently on here in this volume 10, 11, 9, I think. I don't know when it's supposed to end, but hopefully it's still got some gas left, because I've been loving this current arc and loving this series. It's really caught me by surprise with how much I like it, but honestly has been one of my favorite reads of this year. So what do you know? Keep your options open and let yourself be surprised, because when it happens, it's great. Love Hanako-kun. Alright, next up, not a manga, but a light novel, and it is Classroom of the Elite, 1 through 5. Now, I'm missing one this series does a weird thing with some of its numbering. Like there's point 0.5 volumes, so there's a volume 4.5 that I don't have because I can't find it in stock anywhere. I can't even find it secondhand. I don't even know if this thing exists. So I got the ebook of it so I can read it because I've just been really loving reading this series. But yeah, I loved the anime of this back when it came out. And I really wanted it to continue, but they basically said like they're just not going to make a season 2, and the only reason they made one was to promote the light novel. And for a while I was like, oh, they're just lying, they'll make a season 2, it did super well. And here we are in 2021, and there is no season 2 in sight. So I finally just said, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna read the light novel. And this is actually the first light novel that I have ever read of just anything. So that was fun, kind of getting to try my first one, and I'm glad this was my first one because it has been excellent. The first 3 volumes are basically what the anime adapts, and, you know, it was fun, you know, refreshing myself seeing that again. I didn't really think the anime was as bad of an adaptation as I saw some people saying it was. Like, yeah, there's definitely some details left out and some characters really get pushed to the side that become important later. But as far as, like, the main story stuff, seemed like a pretty good adaptation from what I remembered of it. And then finally getting to read past it in volume 4 and then 4.5, which I'm on right now, has been a treat. Really, really good. Low key, the anime should have gone on a little longer, so they could have adapted volume 4 because that one was excellent. And yeah, need to finish 4.5 so I can read 5. And then these things have been going out of stock, so I just may go buy all the ones that are out just so I don't have to deal with it later. Really, really good. Glad I've, you know, finally read my first light novel. Maybe I'll read some more because I've enjoyed several anime that are adapted from light novels, but maybe this will make me go read some of them now. Like 86, I've really been enjoying the anime for that. So maybe I'll be getting some of those light novels later. Who knows? But Classroom of the Elite is awesome. Next up is Boruto 1 and 3. I'm missing 2 because it's out of stock, but I think it should be back in stock sometime soon. But another thing I'm surprised that I got, but I've loved Naruto since I was a kid. It's, you know, I have so much nostalgia for it from my childhood and everything. And I was kind of staying away from Boruto for a while because I was just like, well, I'm kind of satisfied with Naruto. I don't know if I need any more, and I haven't heard the best stuff about it. But I finally decided, you know what? Let's just jump into it. I had a feeling I was going to break eventually, and I finally did. So I read the first volume of it, and it was pretty decent. Kind of did what it needed to do, really tugging on my nostalgia strings with all the old references, seeing all the characters where they are now and the new ones. So I think I'll keep reading it for a little while, give it a chance. Need to get volume 2 as well, but that should be soon, and then I'll continue on with everything else. But yeah, so another thing I'm surprised to have gotten, but we'll see where it goes. Next up is Fly Me to the Moon. I watched the anime for this, and really liked it. It was like just a super chill and fun slice of life little romance series, and I caught up to it online and just loved doing it. And then, like, kind of a little while back, the story kind of took a turning point and is like gonna be getting kind of more serious because there was some mystery elements sprinkled in early on in the manga, but you know, you just kind of forgot about them because they would just do a bunch of fun, cute, slice of life stuff. But now they're kind of bringing those back and capitalizing on them. So I was like, dude, what? Like, I didn't expect anything like that from this series, but I am super glad they are, and it has quickly become one of my favorite romance series. So I have these first 5 volumes. I know I'm a few behind, but I'm gonna get them just when they're on sale so I can catch up and reread and just love this series. And a season 2 just got announced kind of recently, so that's really fun. So if you're looking for a new romance series, this is it. I love this series. Speaking of another new romance series, we have Call of the Night. with the first 4 volumes here. Now, I recently made a video about this, kind of giving it a little spotlight, because I felt it was, kind of underrated. And it still is, but maybe not for much longer, because an anime for this actually got announced, and a PV came out. Watch that. Looks pretty good. Really glad this series is hopefully going to get some more attention, because I thought it was, really solid. The dynamic between the 2 main characters is really fun, and I just really like the vibe of this manga. If you want to know more, you can check out my video. I have it linked up in one of the corners. I forget which one. But yeah, really, really good manga, and seems like, it should finally be getting some more recognition, which is good. Then next up, we have Volume 5 of Go With the Clouds North by Northwest. I was so happy to finally have this come out. I love this series. If we want to talk about underrated manga, this is probably like the most underrated manga I can think of. It is excellent. It's got great artwork, a really, really cool mystery. Really love the main character as well as some of the supporting characters. Has a nice little budding romance side plot. And it just really has got pretty much everything that at least I could ask for from a manga. I really, really love it. This was another excellent volume, and I just hope this series continues to be published in English, because I imagine it's not selling too well, since it's just not a very big name manga or mangaka. Even if Akihire is a mangaka I consider very underrated, because I loved her other series, Rain in the Grey World, as well. I hope they continue publishing these, because I just absolutely love them. It's quickly becoming like, maybe not like in my top 10 or 20 or whatever, but it's climbing the ranks, each time a volume comes out. So I really, really enjoy this series and hope that it continues being published, and hopefully maybe some more people can give it a try if it's not going out of stock or out of print yet. Alright, now for some more volumes that are just adding on to series I've already been collecting. We have volume 5 of Watecoid. Another excellent volume. Watecoid is one of my favorite romance manga, and the next volume will be the last one, I believe, because of course we have 2-in-1 omnibuses, and I believe volume 11 ended the series over in Japan, so the next one we get should be the last one, which is sad because I love this series and always love picking it up, but with where the story and character relationships are at now, it honestly is like the perfect time to end it, because everything gotten to the point of this is, kind of where the end goal was when the series started, and everything's been progressing really well. It's time to let go. And as sad as it is, because I love this series, I think the spot the mangaka picked was perfect. So when we get that last volume, it will be sad knowing it's the end, but what a great run for an excellent romance series. Next up, Land of the Lustrous, Volume 11. I love this cover, maybe my favorite in the series so far. Land of the Lustrous is one of my favorite manga of all time. Another thing I read this year and is one of my favorite reads of the year, and just quickly became one of my favorite manga. From everything from the world, the story, the characters, the mystery, the artwork, just everything in this manga was just fantastic to me, and I just loved every second of watching and reading it. Unfortunately, this is another series that's on hiatus, but as I said earlier with Vagabond, I've kind of learned to not let that stop me. If I want to read something, even if it's on hiatus, then I'll just read it, and this is another one I am really glad that I did read. It is excellent, and I can't recommend it enough. Then we have Volume 9 of Made in Abyss. Love Made in Abyss, has a great anime, and that's how I got into it, then started reading the manga. And the anime is great, but the manga, the artwork in it is just unreal sometimes, one of my favorite like art styles and artwork in manga, particularly of like the environments and some of the layers of the abyss. Some of the spreads of that are just gorgeous, and I love this current arc the series is on. It's just been great, and I believe volume 10 came out in Japan, so hopefully we should be getting that soon, because the release between these are so long, but it's always so worth it. Another series that I just absolutely love, and whenever we get a new volume, it's always a great time. Then, volume 13 of Grand Blue. Really like this cover. But anyway, I believe I am one volume back. I believe 14 came out, which I need to go get, because even though I keep up with this series online monthly, I always love rereading it anyway and just read the volumes when I get them, so I need to go get that. Grand Blue, one of my favorite manga of all time, is really my feel-good manga. Whenever I'm feeling down, had a bad day, just can pick up a volume of it and it'll just always make me laugh no matter how many times I've read it. Absolutely love it. And, you know, as far as comedy manga goes, I haven't found one better than this one and don't know if I will, so just always happy to get another volume of this, and yeah, love Grand Blue. Now we have Golden Komoe, Volume 12. Now with Golden Komoe, I have a bit of a weird, like, dynamic with it, I guess. Like, I don't dislike it, but I obviously don't, like, love it either, because I pick up the volume so slow. Like, I picked up one volume, which was 12, in like 7 or 8 months, despite having many opportunities to get several more. And I think this is just gonna be another one where, like, I like, you know, parts about it, but as far as it wanting to pull me back in for more, obviously, it hasn't been doing that, just judging by the rate I've been buying it. So I think this is another one that I could be getting rid of. I really love Sugimoto as a main character. He was my main reason for coming back as much as I did, and there's some really cool action sequences, and I love the main plot of kind of the look and hunt for this gold and all the many parties, but there's also a lot of stuff like, you know, the walking in the wilderness and all the cooking stuff that just personally doesn't really do it for me, and it's a big part of the series, so, you know, not like I can just ignore it, because then I'm ignoring like half a volume. Just not really something for me. It's like a pretty decent manga, and like I said, I still enjoy parts of it, but obviously not something that I've been wanting to collect, just judging by how much I haven't been buying it. So yeah, really unfortunate, because I know a lot of people really love Golden Kamuy, and I see it in a bunch of people's collection, but just for me, doesn't really do it. Now we have another new series, and one that I've been really excited to pick up for a long time, and that is Hell's Paradise. I have 1, then 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 10. I actually just realized I'm missing 8, huh? But yeah, like I said earlier with Chainsaw Man, that's what I'm doing, because volumes 2 and 3 are like out of stock for this. You know, I haven't been able to find them anywhere, but they've got some restock dates on Barnes & Noble, so I'll get those when they come out. But I've just been buying the volumes as they come out, so I have them later on and don't have to try and track them down or wait later. I read the first volume of it and really liked it. Thought it was a good first volume. The action and artwork is great. The premise of it seems pretty dope. All these prisoners go into an island, basically having a battle royale. Seems pretty fun. And it definitely was like, yeah, like, I want to read this. I was interested in it. I think at this point, I'll just wait until all the volumes are out, because it's only a 13-volume series. So I'm just going to wait, then I can get 2 and 3, and then probably by the time those come back in stock, the 13th volume will be pretty soon coming after, so I can just binge read the whole thing at once, and I think that should be pretty fun. Really excited for it, because again, like I said, really like that first volume, so definitely something I'm really hyped to read, but we'll be waiting, because, you know, I could read it online, but I already have all these books, so might as well just wait, and then I can read them all at once, because it's more fun that way, I think. Now, something I think are pretty cool. Got 2 volumes of Shonen Jump, a Haikyuu and My Hero Academia cover. Now, these are two of my favorite shonen, so I wanted to get these. I saw them in this local bookstore. They have lots of, Japanese manga volumes, and then sometimes they get Shonen Jump issues, and that's where I got the MHA one. The Haikyuu one I got on eBay, and I really love collecting these Shonen Jump volumes, but from looking at some of the other ones on eBay with like covers of series I liked, I think I'm really gonna have to like chill because some of these can get pretty expensive, at least secondhand. I'm really glad to have these, especially with covers of two shonen I really like. Haikyuu being one of my favorite Shonen Jump series ever, and then MHA being one of my favorite currently ongoing ones. So really happy to have these. Definitely, I think something pretty cool that not a lot of people have, but I'm glad to have them because I think they're super dope. Yeah, and then one more thing I got that I forgot to put in earlier and just can't be bothered is the Silent Voice box set. Really happy to have this because it's a pretty simple but pretty nice release. I really like the outer artwork, it's nice to display, but really like A Silent Voice. Loved the movie when I watched it, so I wanted to read the manga, and I finally did when I got this, and I was honestly just shocked by like how much better it is and how much more content is in here. I'm still just shocked by it. Like, where I'm not even rocking with the movie anymore. Just this. But yeah, Silent Voice is awesome. The movie is good. Like, if you haven't seen the movie, you can just watch it. But loved reading this, and definitely another one of my favorite reads I did this year. And it was a long time coming, but it was worth it. And yeah, that is it. I'm glad that I, held off and let it stack up so I can do a really big haul, because that was pretty fun to do, I think. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you watch until the end, really appreciate it. Like and subscribe if you want to, YouTuber stuff, and I'll see you guys in my next video whenever I make it. I do have finals coming up, probably no video for at least a month, but maybe I'll make something short, who knows. But yeah, thank you again for watching, and peace out. Be safe. See ya.